question the thing why bad is bad. Like why doing bad stuff wasn't considered as good, because we have that sense of judgment inside us. So what I believe is like our brain is so powerful at that point, like we all are gods in ourselves in that sense, if you think.
I've thought of that as well.
So like inside us, our bad person, what do you call it? Our bad deeds is the Satan, and our good deeds and the goodness in us is the God.
Dude, I totally agree. Like, but I, I would like to think that we're all gods like that. I really would.
And the judgment, the sense of judgment inside us is the God, because the God is reflects as the judgment. Because
So but that ties back to like what we were saying before about we're all being gods. Fuck, dude. This is just all religion, and it's so true.
Exactly.
It's so hard to deny. God. So we're just in. So God is number one, and then we're just in some 10,000th level dream, 1 millionth level dream of each living thing, and we still have that in us.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so
it
crazy.
It also makes sense, right?
It makes so much sense. Oh, I hate how much sense it makes. But that's, oh my god.
Like all religious texts, I read all four of them. Like every religious text says one thing in common. Like God is everywhere. He can see everything. Right? He can see what you're doing, and how is that possible? Like how did they came if?
Because he's in all of us, right?
Yeah, exactly. He's in all of us. That's why the sense of our judgment is the God. When we go to do something bad, before doing it, we think about it. Should I do it or should I not do it? If I don't do it, the God ourselves made us not to do it. And if we go for it, it's the Satan. That's how it's all inside our brain.
Like, so is it good when like people who are starving steal? You know, like if they steal food.
Yeah.
That's good, right?
Like morally. Like
yeah,
food?
technically that takes away that moral problem with stealing the food, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like.
Exactly, that's how these concepts came. Otherwise, it would have taken every moral thing inside a human being. So they would just be savages. That's how the whole concept came, and that's where there's all those big names came from, like Krishna and all that, Gautam Buddha, those who were who meditated and came up enlightened ones. I basically, sometimes I think they were just on shrooms.
Yeah, like that's what got them to the next level.
Yeah.
So do you know that? So this is my understanding of the theory of how we kind of became human or whatever.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you're spiritual, you believe in God and stuff, but then the theory of how we came to be. I don't know how much you're into evolution and stuff.
Yeah,
but like
into it.
My theory is that so we're in the jungles, we are whatever we are, kind of monkeys that are losing our hair a little bit.
Yeah.
And we're coming out of there. I think so. The theory is that we came to the plains, and in the plains, oh for fuck's sakes, I might be too high to describe this right now.
No, I'm getting it. I'm getting it.
So, in the plains, there was challenges and those challenges, because the jungle is so ubiquitous. It's like it's like in terms of our survival, it's like closer to being the mother. If God is the father, resources and the earth is like the mother.
Nature.
It's
nature
like the mother. It's like the mother.
Exactly.
So I'm saying simple stuff, but I'm getting to it in a long way. So like, oh, damn it, I lost my train of thought, dude. I'm losing my train of thought too much. So like, what was I saying, dude? I lost it.
Nature was the mother, and so like God.
Oh, it's more of a base feeling. Oh, I was talking
evolution.
I was talking about evolution.
So
we got it.
Survival.
We came back around to it. We'll edit that one out. Okay, so with distancing yourself from the mother, we developed all these skills, right? Storage of food, understanding the environment where you use the cold and the heat to your advantage, and all that kind of stuff. And
Even
I think
hunting
that
or growing food.
hunting and agriculture
Agriculture, exactly.
is what changed our brains.
Yeah.
And that is what created what we are now. But we're not so different from a fucking chimpanzee.
Exactly.
You know?
No, but you know, another cool fact about it is like there back in like 2 million years, so 200,000 years ago, we were not the only humans living on Earth. We had a totally different species, not even a totally different or totally different species that were Homo neanderthals.
Yeah, there's a bunch of those, right?
Yeah, and we were the Homo sapiens.
Exactly.
But you know why we survived and they didn't?
Why?
Because our group of people decided to go out of the box, go like do take risks, and
Probably.
that developed their brain.
Probably.
And
that's why I like to gamble. That's why
Yeah,
I'm addicted
exactly.
to poker.
That's why our race got up and they're kind
Yeah.
of died away. And
Yeah, probably.
and the intelligence it was
transfers.
It
yeah.
transfers, exactly.
That's crazy, man. That's why being smart is so important for like humans.
We were, yeah, exactly. That's what
We were the smartest ones.
we were the smartest ones, basically. Yeah. That's why. So these
That's why
are
it's so weird. That's why it's
interconnected.
so weird when you meet dumb people.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
you're like,
So
how are you a
see how-
human?
See how this is interconnected? Smartness is totally connected with survival.
Yeah.
So like if you're dumb, you're basically not like you're lucky to survive. Be grateful for that, dude. Like, exactly.
Oh my god. Fuck, dude. That's so funny. What can we do for dumb people?
And this dumbness just doesn't just show up inside you. It's probably inside your built inside your DNA. That's how you developed it. So probably if you go back, the whole like the generation was dumb.
Oh,
Basically,
probably, dude.
yeah.
God.
Because
Man.
human later separated into groups and all that, and they
Yeah.
all developed at very different ways. Some went to the concept. You do
Survival. There's different ways to survive. Yeah, yeah.
And the brain grew that way, basically.
Yeah.
That's why there were so racial things as well. How do you think like this racial like why do you think people are born with colors, basically? What?
I know, right? Well, it has to do with in terms of there's science theory to it, and then
Yeah, science theories. People like we black people have more melanin inside them and all
Well,
that
well,
stuff.
that-
But
you're
we
talking
go
about
to the
characteristics.
spiritually, yeah.
yeah, well, you're talking characteristics, but in terms of our migrations and
Exactly.
where our genetics comes from, that's what picks the color. But it is crazy to think, though. I guess
how
people.
back can you trace it? It basically
I know.
like how is it possible?
What I've heard, I haven't taken that many anthropology classes. You ever taken anthropology?
No.
As far as I've heard, that we started turning into what we are when we left some of the jungles in Central Africa 200,000 years ago. So humans are 200,000 years old.
Yeah.
That's what I'm aware of. And then, so that's how long it takes to change your color. About 200,000 years to see the variety that we have. And there's people that moved up north, and there's so little sun up there.
Yeah.
So much clouds for some reason in that area.
That took away their color.
It makes you white.
It makes
because
you white.
You
exactly.
need that vitamin D, so you need to absorb it. But like.
It also explains, in the coastal areas of like South America, why people are so tanned.
Yeah, it does, because there's way more sun. Because the clouds don't form there, because you're near the coast. It's a high pressure system. The clouds get wiped out, sent inland. It's wild, man. It's wild. But then we just end up being these different colors. And then we all kind of now, because society in plains, we all have to live in the same fucking place. And then we're just like, my color's better than your color. Isn't that wild?
Yeah, but when it comes to color, like people of different colors have different culture and different thought process as well. So they're like totally different race. So in that sense,
but they always end up getting fucking lumped together. Like, there's people like Americanized Asians, like where they speak English, they sound just like you or I or whatever, and then they still get Asianized by the people that are like that, and that's that inherent bias.
Yeah.
I cut you off though. What were you saying? But I was just saying that.
No, that's where I go.
Always gonna fucking happen.
Yeah.
And it's just a part of being alive. That's crazy, man. Because we're just biased by the colors.
Yeah.
Why do we have? Do you think that eventually we'll all be the same color? Maybe. Like, I guess no, I don't think that's actually even a question that is up for debate, is it?
No.
I think that we're gonna be, right?
There's like in
how long do you think it'll take? Now that's a question.
Like even if you trace back to 1960s, I think Malcolm X, he's probably at that time people started to like normalize black people as their own. Like it's just like 40 years ago. It's
Isn't
not
it
that
crazy
much.
to think about that?
Exactly.
That people
even 40 years
were
before.
keeping. You have. Okay, so it's spoken from your culture, so it's not as crazy as it might sound. So like so the servant thing that we were talking about, that even exists now. I get it, and that's purely economic stuff. And it's still it's not as bad.
Yeah.
But like it's crazy to think that only 40, 60 years ago that literally slavery was around still, where people were literally pretended to be not people.
Exactly.
Because they were black.
They were black. Exactly.
Because they were black. It's fucking wild, dude. So like,
so
and
so people is like they're normalizing stuff really quick these days. Like if you think, and if you even go 6 years before that, like 1900s or 1800s, they were like tied around ropes inside their neck, and they're forced to do props and stuff. Yeah, exactly. That's how bad. I even heard like they were put into cages or zoos. In the zoo to take like for white people to go and see.
And that's crazy.
How dark that is.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Now
it's crazy
we have
to think
Barack
how
Obama as a president.
I know.
So if you think about it, think it like that. It'll only 2050. By then there will be no color.
There will be no color by 2050. That's the statement by Sanvi. I like it. And I fucking agree with it. I agree with it. Did you look at the camera? Every time we look at the camera, we're gonna have to edit it out because it just looks like we're amateurs. You know the shitty part is like the first 20 minutes of this conversation.
Yeah.
I didn't turn on the recorder. You know how we built up to a pretty good place.
Yeah.
But like we missed like, the first 15 minutes. We missed.
That's okay. It's more natural.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we came right at it. Like when I turned on the audio recording, we were already at like 7th gear.
So tell me about your political views. Okay, so
yes, let's get political. Okay, let's take a brief recess. Do you need to go to the bathroom at all?
No, I'll smoke some weed instead.
Okay, let's take a brief recess. We're at 12 minutes.
Okay. No way we're on 12 minutes. We can continue while doing it.
For sure, for sure. All right, so we're back here. We're gonna take potentially a hoot break, but we're here with Sanvi, the Indian genius.
So, what's your view on capitalism?
We were about to jump into politics and capitalism, right?
Or let's not talk about capitalism. Talk about communism.
Yeah. Okay. No, but let's talk about let's just talk about politics first,
all right.
And then that works our way into that. I would consider myself like kind of center right kind of thing.
Center right?
Yeah.
You close to liberals?
No, that'd be left.
Oh.
Isn't that?
So right is
conservative.
Conservative.
Yeah.
So you mean Eric O'Toole?
He's a conservative, isn't he? Eric O'Toole?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that our local guy?
No, he's from Ontario, I guess.
Oh, okay. Okay, you were doing shoutouts to the do you know what? I met a guy one time, this Indian guy who was 30. Oh man, this is a long story. I'm just gonna jump into it a little bit. So I met this guy one time named Rohin,
Rohan.
and he was, yeah, I guess he was Indian as well.
Okay.
And there's something close to that. And he was like 33. He moved in, and I found out, like, this is later after he left. I found out he was a compulsive liar. So he was actually 33. Told us that he was like 26.
And you couldn't tell. How is it
Well,
possible?
it's kind of tough. Between 26 and 32 is kind of tough to tell the difference, man. And
Okay.
and he told us that he had a job at this place. Turned out to be a total lie. And like, he had a job there, but it was, everything he had said about it was different. He took us out to this one dinner one time where it was like $300, and he's like, no, it just goes on the card, don't worry. He told us that he was like in Up in the Air with George Clooney. It's a movie where he's a consulting firm that goes and fires people. He told me that he was like that. He was an accountant style person who he goes into companies
Yeah.
and cuts out the fact. He told me these details about what his job were that were fake. And he lied about his age, and on and on and on, to the point where he would literally spend $300 on a steak dinner and say that he wasn't paying for it, but he was. So,
Where is it going? Like,
yeah, this was coming back to politics,
is
wasn't it? So, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was.
So how is he sourcing that money? That's the question.
Well, he was just putting it on credit cards, because later I ended up getting letters and envelopes from collection companies where there was huge sums of money that he was owing.
Then?
I opened the letters. That's a federal offense. Don't come and get me. I was opening his letters, and he had these stacked up credit cards that it was just all, and he would just jet. He would just leave, go back to wherever, or and just leave. Dude, even provincially, Canada is so big. I'm pretty sure that he's just from Eastern Canada.
That's a heist.
And it still doesn't follow him. It is a heist. It really is. And I think that there's tons of. That's a heist.
Yeah, that's basically a heist.
That's a fucking heist. Oh shit. So anyway, compulsive liar. Yeah. So we were talking politics. I don't know how that would connect to him, but yeah, I'm center right. I don't know how that connected. I
So
lost
you-
it, dude.
So basically, you're like, do you support any of the liberal does or nothing? Basically, because you don't support Justin Trudeau's views, that's for sure.
Well, sure. I like that he legalized marijuana,
Yeah.
so I like that, and I like inclusion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I just don't like, and I never criticize leaders. That's the thing. Do you know what I mean?
Let's
we're
talk about it.
Yeah, let's talk politics. Let's
I
talk
want
politics.
to ask you something. So you had the Rishi Sunak. You heard of it?
Say that name
Rishi
again.
Sunak.
No, I haven't heard of him. I don't think so, unless I'm.
Rishi Sunak. So he is basically the current Prime Minister of the England. Prime
Oh yeah,
Minister.
yeah. Oh yeah, dude. Yes.
And some people are against it, and some are supporting it. So what's your view on it? Because you definitely won't like like someone who migrated to your country. Then
I think it's fine. I think it's fine. I was. If we're gonna talk about that, I am mostly disappointed in Liz. Liz Truss, right? Is that her name?
yeah, she's resigned.
I'm mostly disappointed in her as giving up that quickly.
Yeah.
It's so bad for women. It's
But
so,
that also tells like how like what she might have went through, like all those pressures and whatever is going
I can't
inside.
imagine how stressful it would be to be a
Yeah.
leader like that.
Exactly.
That's why I tried. That's what I mean about I don't
The
criticize leaders.
Queen's
'Cause
death right after the Queen's
right after
death.
the Queen died too.
Yeah, exactly.
I know. Oh man, probably
That
real
was
bad.
too much to take, so that's
Probably.
why she hadn't the experience or.
But then don't fucking run then. I mean, come on. Do you
Mm.
think she got propped up like it wasn't her decision? I don't know what if I've.
I think so. That
She
could
must have
be.
been propped up because like to give up that quickly, man. That's why I have a beef with her a little bit. Is because to feel yourself rising to that position,
Hmm.
you have to put a stop to it. If you think you don't have what it takes, you've got to put a stop to it before it gets to that point, and you're elected, and you last 2 months. That
Yeah.
looks so bad for women. Like you can't do that. So anyway, The new guy, man. I think that's good.
That's
Don't
good.
you? I think because he kind of looks like you. Like looks just like you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so he's basically British. Actually, he was born here, so he technically it makes him British. So
He was born in Canada.
he was born in Canada.
No, no, I'm asking you. You said he was born. When you say he was born here, what did you mean by born here?
In England.
He was born in England. Gotcha,
Yeah.
gotcha.
So he was
But
born
do you
in
know his
London.
ethnicity?
Yeah.
What
Yeah,
is it?
he's from Pakistan, I guess, or
Pakistan or India.
India. Yeah.
Same thing.
Same.
Same thing.
We were a whole big subcontinent at one point. Then you guys came and fucked it up, bro. What the fuck? Now we
You're totally right. You're totally right, dude.
and you know the how evil that person was. I think his name was Lord Cornwall, or
Cornwall?
So he was at that time the viceroy of Indian subcontinent. So when he saw that the situation is going bad and he cannot keep this territory, he decided to give independence to the Indian
India.
subcontinent. So then, just before doing that, like there's a story. Like a thought came in his mind, like if he keeps it like this, we gonna prosper, or like we were at that time like very like rich in our resources and all that. We had all our like we at that time we had like 5 or 10 Nobel Prize winners in our subcontinent. So they were seeing like we're
So
prospering.
we're talking like early 1900s.
Yeah, and they saw that like only thing is dividing in the subcontinent is religion.
So India hasn't even been its own thing since later than 1920?
1945.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
So it was India was a British colony until 1945?
45, exactly.
What the fuck?
Then India got independence in 46, and Pakistan also in 46.
Holy
And then
shit.
one day after, India was on 15 August or something, and Pakistan 16 August.
Oh
And
my
then after,
God.
it's we were Pakistanis too, Bangladesh.
Let's talk about this for a second.
Yeah.
Why? And remember what you're saying. Continue your story though.
Yeah.
Why? Let's ask why. Why is that? I have a theory, and it's simple because answers are simple.
Yeah.
But why? So the colonies thing and the whole hierarchy of
Yeah.
the human culture that we have right now.
Yeah.
Why is it existing? My theory is guns.
Exactly. I mean, the army, basically the army.
Army, a collection of guns.
Guns.
But and then so who would ever win the battles would be highly dependent on the technology of their guns.
Exactly.
So, but does that mean that British people designed the best guns?
No.
So we were the most good with metallurgy. And that literally led to global supremacy? Isn't that so lame? If the only thing that caused British people to have the cultural supremacy, if you will, can we agree on that, or of being able to colonize these areas and stuff, literally comes down to safety provided by gun engineering?
Yeah.
You think that's a true thing to say?
But it contradicts, because even even in 1500s, not let's say 1500s, like say even like our part of the area, like Asia and Japan, China, they were prospering like 2000 years BC. They were like all the golden culture and all that, and at that time in Europe there was just crops. There weren't even humans. There were few humans, but the the very descendants.
So it looks like Saskatchewan does now.
Yeah, the very descendants. They were just they're still hunters basically, and on the other part of the world, people were like worshiping gods, and it all were prospering, making structures and all that, temples. So if you look at that way, so that part of the world was richer than Europeans. But then the questions come.
When you say that part, who's that part?
Subcontinent, Indian subcontinent, Japan, Asia, basically, Arabs.
Yep, got you. Continue. Yeah.
Yeah, and then there comes Europeans. So, but how did they climb the ladder so fast and became superior to us?
How?
How?
In terms of war, in terms of whatever, because I want to be clear here because I don't want it to sound like we're talking. Oh, the British just dominated wars.
Yeah, no.
We're not talking like that. We're talking about how that happened.
Yeah.
And just purely in that sense.
purely in that
No,
sense. Like, what's the process? What led that thing to happen?
when you know what I come back to when I've considered that, if I'm going to be completely unbiased about it, is maybe it literally comes down to weather and shit. So like maybe on the globe,
Yeah.
the weather that is in that area of Britain is the most
Harsher, or
not
like,
harsh.
like
Harsh would be helpful and stuff, and
yeah,
but I was gonna say use the word, and I don't know if I'm using the right word, temperate, or just the calmest weather, rain, vegetation, ubiquitous around you, just
Yeah.
basically water, just like you're in the Earth's bounty of water,
yeah,
closest to water. So it all comes back to weather and like water supply, because you know, and that might have been what, because water is important for, water is a conductor.
yeah.
It conducts electricity. Our brain is an electrical organ.
I mean, yeah.
So that, I think it's water. I think it's water.
It makes sense. Yeah.
Like,
They, it led them to think more and all that thing. They got.
because that's the only way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you strip everything else away, you have to just say they got lucky through migration to end up in the best place for environment,
Yeah, exactly.
and they got lucky.
They got lucky.
So, and that's what it is, and that ended up being white people who were there,
yeah.
and they got lucky, and then that resulted in whatever else happened, technological advancement.
Military advancement that led to colonization, and that's what it is now.
Yeah, but then let's talk about military for a second as a concept. When does somebody else want to fight somebody else? People don't want to fight unless they think they can win. So that's my point, though, is it's almost like they made the military was an afterthought to them realizing that they could win the fights. They realized they could win the fights first, and then military came after that thought. You know what I'm saying?
How did
So,
they
like,
realize without a military?
that I think the technology comes first. I think that metallurgy.
Also, they think like if there were a war to happen, we have the knowledge and equipment to quickly make something up and win the fight or something like that.
Maybe that. It's crazy. Maybe hills and shit too. It really comes down to environment.
Yeah.
Like defensibility. So maybe there was wars. I'm not a super historian, but like I imagine that there was lots of wars that took place, micro wars all throughout that region before there was superiority, spread and all that stuff.
Yeah.
That the geographic location of Britain, defensibility, safety, and religion and comfort create intelligence.
Yeah.
That
exactly.
intelligence and artisticness is a byproduct of comfort.
Comfort.
So that right.
That
so
evolved, and then now
that's we're all on the same page.
Yeah.
And when you're in a desert, when you're sweating, you can't do that comfort.
Exactly.
And
it comes to your survival at that time.
Yeah.
So
So
they're always on stress, and that basically
stunts
created
the frontal lobe.
Yeah, stunts the frontal lobe, and they like their subconscious mind gets a bit like lost at the
Yeah.
same time. Yeah.
Shit, dude. Fuck. This might be the best 30 minutes of podcasting I've ever done in my life.
Yeah.
I'm serious, man.
We
So,
went so deep.
well, so, did you do well? You must do well in school then.
I do, but
And then before university, where it gets a little bit dependent on the professor's performance in terms of and then these tests.
Yeah.
In high school, where it's more regimented, they teach you the stuff, and that's what's on the tests.
Yeah.
Did you do really good in high school?
Yeah,
versus
yeah.
You must have crushed it.
And
you were a math guy too?
Nah, I wasn't a math guy.
Okay.
But this I was never good at math, but I like more of a conceptual subjects. I like science and all that, but I don't know, math is not my thing.
So why do you think you haven't been able to figure out the economy yet? So at 21, that's a fucking long time.
Yeah.
And you're wanting to be a businessman. You're going into business.
Yeah.
Why when I ask you what's a business, why don't you think of one? Because that's a medium that you should be analyzing.
No, because like getting into business school doesn't mean we have to start up our own something of our own. That doesn't.
No.
No, it could go.
You
How
don't
do you think like banks work? They're business people, right? Without them, banks won't work. Without business people, big companies won't work. So it's all every business people works as a structure in the whole business society or whatever you call it. So it acts as a function. So
Okay.
you can't take away function.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you asked me what my political leaning was, and as you talk about corporations and how simply you seem to be able to think that you should fall into that stuff,
Yeah.
because you come from a place that's so densely populated,
Yeah.
you're used to being part of a system.
Yeah.
And I'm an independentist, if you will. So what is your political leaning?
I'm more towards liberal.
Yeah. So you
Yeah.
and would you call yourself liberal, or would you call yourself a centrist left, or like a centralist
Centrist
liberal?
left.
And what do you think it is about you that's centralist? What do you think that me and you would agree upon?
I have no idea. I don't. Because I don't know much about Canadian politics. Because not now. Because I haven't been here for a long time.
So
though.
your overall all view of British people,
Yeah.
what do you think if you had to try to summarize that?
British people.
The British people and being from a colony of Britain,
Yeah.
if you had to try to summarize now how you feel when you think about British people, how do you feel?
British people have their own ways of thinking stuff and living their lives. They like I'll give you an example. Let's say a household in Britain earns around 100K a year, and at the same currency, if you divide that to a Indian subcontinent, it's like 100K would be like what do you call it? Around like 5 or 6 lakhs in our currency.
What's the conversion rate?
No, it's like the economy would be like if you take the $5,000, what can you buy with the same amount there? That's all. Like if I'm saying like that, then it will be like if you let's say a household who earns 100K gets to live the same lifestyle as a person in Indian subcontinent who earns around 5 lakhs. Let's put it that way.
Okay. So we're talking about lifestyles.
Yeah. So my point is like even if Britain, they unless they're wealthy rich, they don't show it much. British people, they like to do their own stuff, do their own laundry, yeah, the housework and all that stuff. Do drive their own car, but in our subcontinent we rely on people to do stuff for ourselves. Like it's a luxury for us. Like if you think it that way, their thought processes are so different than us, and it's kind of like they're like a better version of us thinking about like that. So that's how they got prosperity so such quickly.
So you're saying that they're practical. They're
Then
practical.
yeah, they're more practical
And
basically.
then,
Yeah,
I love that.
and we are
That's
more
interesting.
luxurious.
Yeah,
like-
you're more luxurious. That's an interesting way to summarize it. That's what you think of when you think of British people. You think of practicality, hey?
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense, no?
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's a great way to put it. So simply. Practicality.
That's why their culture is like more superior than ours. Their thinking process, like what US is now, Canada is like.
So we're
20
just
years
talking about how
behind.
quick it takes you to get lazy.
Yeah,
At the end of the day,
exactly.
It's
We
like-
are lazy, basically.
Yeah.
I didn't have the word.
Yeah.
See, that's how like a whole what do you call it? A race can fall.
yeah, laziness.
Laziness.
Oh, but the thing is, though, is
And if you trace it back, like I'm gonna forget it. Like
Just-
if you trace it back, why British people are so practical, is probably because the first descendants of like British people or like the Germans were in the Sweden or the northeast part of the area of Europe.
Yeah.
Sweden, Denmark, they originated from there. The first Germans or the first species of Europeans.
yeah,
So that weather was harsh.
yeah.
That made them
Creates the-
creates the
Yeah.
ladder for them. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
how by generation that
So
thing,
struggle creates independence,
independence basically,
and
yeah.
then independence is what breeds the
And
whole.
in the subcontinent, on the other hand, it was rich from like
So many
5,000 years
people to be
BC.
abused, because
Yeah,
the more people you have, the easier it is to
yeah.
prop yourself up,
Prop yourself
like
up.
a bunch of fucking rats just climbing up on each
Yeah.
other. Oh my god, dude, that's wild to think of it all so clearly like that. Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
It's crazy that you're 21. You're 21?
Yeah.
Man,
I'm a blood roaming
I wish
guy.
I was as smart as you when I was 21, dude. I, I feel like I was, but I played a lot of sports. So I
Yeah.
didn't have as much time as I would have liked to think about a lot of this stuff. It's pretty wild. How much do you think, when you think about your personality, how much do you think that you copy other people's personalities? Like, when you say the stuff you say, and all this, do you hear your dad's voice in your head saying a lot of this stuff? Or how much of it is original thoughts? What do you think about that?
I
Like,
think
how hard do you think you work inside of there?
I think like before it was more influence, but now it's more clear. I know what I'm thinking, and it's not influenced by anyone, or I'm not trying to copy someone's personality.
Sometimes I feel like I'm a copier.
You copy someone's personality.
Yeah, like sometimes I feel like
What?
I'm a
Why do you think you do that? Like, what makes you do
It's
that?
like they're like cheat codes, I suppose.
Yeah, but this is how you can't really pull it off sometimes, and it goes so bad, and it just
Yeah.
works.
Yeah.
Yeah, reverse. Like,
Dude, what's your least favorite emotion? My least favorite emotion is embarrassment.
same.
Oh, I hate it. I hate it.
No, 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 no. I have the worst.
When I embarrass
No,
myself?
it's worse than that. I have my
Oh.
worst emotion, believe it or not, is sympathy. Like
Is what?
getting sympathized. I don't know.
Sympathized.
You don't. You.
No,
you,
I got you. I'm following you.
You following me? Like,
Yep.
like, let's say you embarrass yourself, and someone comes up to you and says,
Oh,
"Hey,
yeah.
are you okay? Don't worry about this stuff." And
And then what does that make you feel? Does it make you feel anger?
it makes me feel like I'm not. They are superior than me, or some kind of ego, basically. That's how it works for me, I guess.
So you're on the next level of it. For me, the moment where I have to feel the embarrassment, that's what creates all the fear. So that's why I hate embarrassment the most. But you're on the next stage where you don't like the sympathy after the embarrassment.
Yeah.
Dude, for me, it's the fear that comes before the embarrassment. So we're kind of like opposite sides on that one a little
Yeah.
bit. Have you had a lot of girlfriends in your life, or are you a proponent of that whole organized thing? Is that a thing for you guys?
Yeah. It's like 5 girlfriends.
5 girlfriends.
Yeah.
Literally the same as me, man. I think
Wow.
I've had 5 or 6.
And
It's
one
bad that I
was
can't
really
really
long,
remember.
6 years, and
Yeah.
after that was my first two. So after we broke up after 6 years, so that made me like just don't care about it anymore. I just made random girlfriends, stayed with them for 3 or 4 months.
And that's where the other 4 came from.
Yeah.
So you're just on your first one.
No, I also cheated once, so that I
Oh!
I also count that because she was the best. She was the best girlfriend I had.
The
She
one
was
that you cheated with?
Yeah, cheated with. I really miss her. And so, so I also it's like, that would be disrespect for her if I don't call her my girlfriend, because she was technically the best for me. We got along so good. Like,
Oh.
we used to have these conversations. How
For
crazy
real?
is that? Like, getting. Your camera couldn't just take it.
I think it just shut off. Yeah, I think we're all good.
Yeah.
We're good. We got 20 more minutes of runtime though. I think until my storage is full. We
Yeah.
almost also only have 5% battery.
You're gonna use a power bank?
We're running this thing ragged. And I just gotta delete. Maybe I can make some space here. It's the problem is we've been talking for an hour. That's why the space is full. Oh, but no, I can delete this whole thing right here.
Oh, nice. I'll take a quick photo. Interesting.
There, now we'll have. Now we got more than an hour again now. It says 20 minutes, but must not have updated yet.
Shit. Something wrong?
Nope, not at all. I'm just trying to clear up some storage so that we don't have 20 minutes left of. But you know what? I do have another phone that should have battery.
But how are you gonna connect the videos? You can edit it, but it's more of a hassle.
No, it may seem like a hassle to you because you might not have, you may not be very experienced in it, but
Yeah.
it actually, it isn't a hassle. Freaking old ass phones. I'm trying to empty my trash because I know that after you delete videos, they go to a secondary. Secondary
recycle bin stuff.
Battery storage, here it is here. And I need to get rid of the trash. Well, the thing is, if we get another 20 minutes out of it. Is that a long enough break for you?
Yeah.
You broken up? Do you want another Pabst or no? You're good and high.
Yeah.
Oh, you've got one
It's
going.
full. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. All right, so we're back from our break, and we were talking about girlfriends.
So you had exactly 5?
I've had 5 or 6.
Or
you know,
6.
isn't it sad that I can't remember the exact number? I'd have to fucking go through them. But like you said though, oh, we were talking about how you were on your first one.
Yeah. So.
Dude, my first one, man, I feel ya. You said your first one was 6 years.
Yeah.
And then to end it, it was a cheating situation, and it was awesome, and you don't regret it.
Yeah.
That's fucking wild, dude. That's awesome. That's awesome. But for me, my first one was 4 years, and it ended, and it was like, it was a bummer.
What do you mean?
It was a bummer. Like I didn't get out of it on a fucking horse like you did. Mine was like, no, I'm cold all of a sudden, dude. I want more heat. Let's heat this place up. I think I need the constant supply of heat for like the thoughts.
Okay.
I would say that like. So when you were in your long one.
Yeah.
Sorry, I forgot we were sharing this. You felt that it wasn't good.
No.
During it. Did you feel that? Or did it take the new girl to make you realize that?
It took the new girl to realize me that like she's more of my type than I am with the person who's with me for 6 years.
But before you found the new girl, did you know? What did you feel like when you felt? Because like it sounds like it didn't break you up like it did for me. Like my first one, when it broke up, dude, it was horrible. Have you ever had a panic attack?
Yeah.
You've had a panic attack?
I did. I do.
Yeah, you said you had anxiety, right?
Yeah, I
Dude,
do.
I've had I had my first breakup. I had a panic attack, and I was like, "Oh, this must be the worst. This must be the worst thing ever." So, anyway, so that was my first breakup. But you get over it.
Yeah.
But like, the one I'm in now has been 10 years long almost. Like I think we're at like
oh my
8.
God.
We're at like 8.5, 9, something like that.
How is it the 5 girlfriends? Like
Well,
that
so I had
already
my
took
first one.
14
So my
years
first
of.
one, I was 17 until 20.
Yeah.
So like 3.5 years,
Okay.
and that so I was at 20, and then I had a couple of girlfriends in between that. And
Okay.
and obviously that's the funniest part of your life. I got so many ridiculous stories. I'm sure you do too, but
Yeah.
because you're in the age range of when I was doing that.
Okay.
You're literally in the middle of it right now.
I
That's
am
what's funny
doing
about it.
that too. Like exactly the
The
same
stories,
time.
dude. The stories. I've got. Oh, I'm debating in my mind whether I want to say a few of these stories. That's all.
Yeah.
Just realize that's why I'm delaying. What was that one? Oh my god. Okay, let's find a way to segue into this. I don't think we can go that
So
way.
excited.
I don't think we can go that way. I can't. We can't. God damn it. But yeah, I love the girl that I'm with now. It's good. Yeah, stable. Fuck, dude.
She's older than you, eh? You
Yeah.
said-
Yeah,
That's
she's
so
older than me.
cool.
Yeah. I know. You wouldn't. Most guys don't really go for that.
Yeah. Yeah, you know the girl I cheated with, I cheated with her for only for like 14 or 17 days. For like 14 or 17 days, I had two girlfriends. I managed
And
to.
that was just the best time of your entire
Yeah,
life.
exactly. That was the
And
best
it was
time.
all worth it.
It was like I was so happy. Like I felt like what am I doing in this cage for so long?
Do you think that? Do you think that monogamy isn't ideal? Like in terms of overall Indians in general, like Mormonism is a thing where they're allowed to have multiple wives.
Yeah.
Do you think that that's a good thing? I guess.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, it's a good thing for us. Like anyone would agree. You have four wives for like for you when you come back home. Like what? That's cool, man.
See now that. Remember how we were talking about centralist left? That's getting more towards the center, way over to the right. Just so you know, that tendency is not liberal. Not liberal. Oh, that's so funny. Oh my god. That's so awesome.
Arabs do it a lot.
I know. It's totally normal. I gotcha. It's awesome.
It's awesome.
No, I feel you because I
Would
kind
you
of
do it
agree with you.
if we had time for you?
Dude, I would, but dude, let's talk about British culture. Now we're talking about my culture for a second, dude.
Okay.
We prop women up so high. Like, look at the Queen.
Yeah.
Like, we actually have queens. We. Oh my god. Yeah, multiple wives would be wild. We don't do it that way though. Like, British people fucking. I think that we turn our family into like a business, in a way. You know what I mean? So once you have a wife, she's like a business partner. So the instability that's created by having multiple wives, I think that that's why our culture pulls away from it a little bit.
Yeah.
Is purely for that, because we're like the safe people. I think that white people are like the safe people. You
No,
know?
but you know those who actually marry in the Arab areas four wives, the wives get along pretty well with each
Really?
other. Yeah.
See, then that's
They're
good.
like sisters.
That's good. That's awesome.
And they know that when they marry each other, the other wives they need full permission of them to marry the next one. It's the law.
Oh.
So if your other wife don't permit you to marry another one,
I just know
you
because
can't.
Mormons have a lot of trouble over here, but it might just be because the cultural stigma.
Yeah.
So, does your dad have more than one wife?
No, no. It's more on the west side of the Arab side, but in our culture, it's not.
Yeah.
We don't do
No, but
that.
I totally see how it
Like,
could be awesome.
Let me ask you something.
It could
Like
definitely
in your
be awesome.
culture, do you find marrying your cousin is a taboo?
Yeah.
Why? Like,
I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't know. But you know,
have you never liked
I know
one
that
of your cousins?
British people. Oh man, I got a story about that. She's not, and again, remember that all my cousins wouldn't. A lot of my cousins.
Like, cousins are cute though,
Yeah,
right?
a lot of my cousins aren't blood cousins either. So just realize that, and this person, it wasn't actually me. Oh man, we can't talk about this stuff on the line. No, this is not. This is great that we got to this point,
Okay.
but we're gonna that one's actually. That's so funny, but that's actually, I think that's not for the air.
Yeah.
We're gonna put that one in the absence of air, in the vacuum. That one
Yeah.
doesn't go on the air. Okay. That's a good topic though. But like, no, I know that there's a lot of incest in British culture as well, up at the higher parts
Yeah.
and all that. So I get it. I totally get it. But like, yeah, there for me, when I think about it, it definitely does feel weird.
You feel
Yeah.
weird?
Even if there's any connect, it's the family. You know, and what is that? Hey, that's like think. It's something to do with your thinking. But it's like when you connect that part of your life, that part. So you know what I mean. With family, where there's family connections, it's so risky because of how close it is. That I think that is where the fear comes from, and you have to listen to that fear a little bit.
Yeah.
I think I do, because and I don't know though, because your culture is different, so you must have so much family that it may not matter. But like just thinking of that messes up. All these people will know about that. That
Yeah.
is the problem. You don't want those people to know that I couldn't go out on my own and find a nice diverse person. I'm in here plowing the family garden.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's not. I think that's it's just a weak. It's weak. Comes off weak.
Yeah.
You know? You feel me on that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. As long as we can agree on that.
Yeah.
It feels weak. I get the tendency, but it feels a little weak. So.
But
If you could pick,
what?
if you could pick your your favorite ethnicity to be with, what do you think you would pick?
Be with as in marry?
Yeah. Would you pick your own?
Yeah, 100%.
See, now we're getting away from liberal again. Moreover,
Yeah,
we're
why
moving
not?
right. We're gonna have to call this podcast "Sliding to the Right."
Yeah, why not? Like,
Dude, hey, I agree with you, dude. I'm just saying though, like, I, isn't that? Because like, oh my God, isn't that like a bit of when you pick your own thing like that? Isn't that anti-diversity in a way? Because like I get you sometimes because I have a Latin girlfriend. Long term, hello if you're out there. Maybe we broke up, maybe not. She doesn't watch these anyway. She's embarrassed of me that I do podcasts.
okay.
So that's diverse in a way. But like I've also been around white people a lot of white girls and stuff like that, and it does feel like a certain alignment is there.
Yeah.
But how important is that? You think it's super important?
No.
You said 100%. So it's like that means you rank that so
Yeah,
highly.
this is because like I use the term marry because we would definitely like to be in a relationship with a different ethnicity girl. We don't mind, but when it comes to marrying someone, they need to have the partner need to have the same mentality or same kind of like thinking as ours. Otherwise, it's gonna fall apart. That's why you see there's so much divorce rate in U.S. at this time.
For sure. For sure.
So when it comes to marrying, so we think a lot before choosing someone.
Yeah,
So
I get you. So you think so much so that you involve
yeah,
the older, wiser versions of the family in those discussions. It's a good
but doesn't
idea.
mean we don't like other ethnicity.
No, I for
offer
sure,
it.
and I didn't
Yeah.
mean to make it sound like that.
Yeah.
I feel you though, and I agree with that type of thinking. I really do. I do.
Let me ask you something. Would you go for definitely the kind of person you are? You would definitely go for a personality of a girl, right?
I think the personality is kind of important. Yeah.
So if the person, it's like, what's the most important? Let's say.
Well, this is what's weird because you said if the values don't match up, it's just gonna not work.
Yeah.
Because me and my girlfriend are very different in terms of our political views, and it's a challenge. It's a challenge to say the least, man. So I can't. That's why I'm so in agreeing with you, in agreement with you right now on a lot of this. It's fucking. I wish my mom could somehow send me some chicks. You know, that would be a huge good thing.
Yeah.
Like I totally agree with you on that, dude. God. Like, oh, it's so rough. Um,
Yeah, this basically our parents pick our partner for us,
yeah, I like
and
that.
most of the time it's bang on.
It's bang on,
Yeah.
of course. I bet, dude. They're way smarter than us. We're too young and dumb.
Yeah.
I literally think that intelligence is highly tied. You know, the older I get,
Yeah.
and let me tell you, as you 9 to 10 years in the future, just a little older than you, um, school is important. It is a hyper stage of learning.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, dude, if this was the curve of learning, right? And so you're a baby, and then you start to go to school, right?
Yeah.
And then you finish school. Let me tell you, it flattens a little bit, your curve of learning and intelligence, but it does not flatten out. Dude, as you get older and you meet older people, you realize that intelligence is the older you are, the smarter you are.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate, and I don't mean to totally simplify it linearly like that.
Yeah, I agree with you.
But like,
Totally.
dude, the older you are, the fucking smarter you are.
Yeah, you are.
And oh,
It's all about experience.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like when you're young, when you're young, you're the most crazy. So I just feel like that's why they use education to just keep those people.
Yeah.
Don't go crazy, you know. But when you get older, you realize that that level of learning and consciousness, where you're taking everything in, it never slows down.
Yeah.
That was just training, and it keeps going the same way. So that's why respect for elders, I think, is so important.
Yeah.
And you know,
That's why all the
our cultures are different in that way, though, too. But like,
you don't respect your elders?
no, we do, but our families separate. We put people out. We believe in you go, and you guys are like you stay.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Did I hit a? I think I hit a strike on that one.
Strike on.
Because yeah, for some reason in white culture, it's like sorry, I feel like I'm having a heart attack. People fucking we send people out. Once you're 18, once you get of age, white people, it's like, okay, we'll give you money if you need it, but it's like, get lost. And in your culture, it's not that.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
They expect us to support because they've been supporting. Who would have like paid 120 grand for the children's education for one child?
Yeah, so you were just like standing on your parents' shoulders.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And when they get older, they stand on ours. That's
exactly.
That's the beauty
and I
of
get
it.
that. I get that.
Yeah.
I get that. Sometimes I get so angry at my parents for how little they help me, but but that's where the practicality comes from.
Yeah.
It's because they put me out on my own, so I have to learn things from the bare level.
Exactly.
Like cooking and fucking building shit, and oh my god, dude, it's endless.
Yeah.
It's endless. Oh, who knows which one is better? You know?
That's why there's a bad there's a saying here in Canada, like the brown kids are bad as tenants. Why is that? Because like the Canadian landlords. Why is that?
Because they do less stuff. Like, I don't
they,
want to
they,
clean.
Yeah, they don't do less cleaning and stuff. They're like, because they're not used to it. In their cultures, but white people, they do it. They learned it from their childhood. That's where the barrier comes.
For sure.
Yeah. It's definitely a bad thing though. Definitely.
I've had a lot of different people as tenants.
Yeah.
And I haven't noticed any problems, to be honest. I find
Yeah.
that everybody is about the same. When they all live in the same space and they all the colors intermingle, if you will,
Yeah.
everybody seems to act pretty normal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although I haven't had many African American tenants. By that I mean 0. So yeah, I don't know. But other than that, though, I've had everyone else, and it's been pretty even across the board.
Yeah.
Like I've had my worst. Although guess what? This is a funny 50-50 tie. My 2 worst tenants I've ever had. One was Indian, and one was white. So
Oh wow.
total 50-50 tie. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
The worst tenant I ever had as an Indian, it was a female, and she was in her mid-20s, and
She wasn't Raheen. That is the high school.
no, not Rohin. If you can believe it, the compulsive liar wasn't my worst tenant.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I had a girl who it's kind of dark. It's not that funny, I guess.
Yeah.
I can make it sound kind of funny, some parts of it,
Yeah.
but it's mostly pretty sad. So
Sad.
yeah, kind of sad. Like just like alcohol abuse. Like she would, beers. You could drink beers and you just eventually fall asleep. Beer is beer, but she would chug vodka, and she took like antidepressants, I think, pills, some sort of pills. I don't know anything about pills.
Yeah.
She would take pills, and what I can only tell you from the symptoms that I observed what she had. She had what I would describe as tremors.
Shaking.
So shaking and not being able to control your muscular system. She would have that, and that was caused by the alcohol combined with the medication she was on. I like looked it up because I can't remember. There was some. I googled it. Depression medications, or maybe somehow I saw a bottle of hers. I can't remember. Maybe I didn't, but I looked it up somehow and figured it out.
So how, where was she?
Oh, but yeah, then the after effect. So let me tell you the after effects. So yeah, so she had problems with pills and alcohol. The after effect was she basically destroyed a room that I had. Like, would stay in her room all day. She was only there for less than a month, and then I had to literally remove her. There's women's health shelters.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't take her, so I had to literally take her to her parents' house. She couldn't walk anymore when it was at its worst. She like wouldn't eat, and then do vodka and pills, and she couldn't walk anymore. And when I met her, she seemed totally normal. That's what's so crazy about it. She seemed totally normal. And I had to literally carry her to her parents and say, I think she's got some problems. I'm sorry, I had to take her out of the house because she was soiling the room. Like, I'm talking pissing herself, and like, for real, throwing up all over the place.
Oh my
Throwing
god,
up.
she was probably overdosed on something.
Well, just to the point where she was so physically fucked up from the usage, she couldn't get herself to the bathroom to not just puke on the floor, go to the bathroom in her bed. For real, that happened.
That's scary.
So that's the worst Indian girl that I had, and then the worst white guy that I had was very similar to that. But he didn't do the antidepressant alcohol thing, he did meth.
What? I was expecting less. You said he did meth. Immediately Breaking Bad flashed inside my head.
Yeah, no, he did meth. It wasn't blue, but yeah, it's definitely the fucking real world Breaking Bad.
Holy shit.
Yeah, dude, he was totally normal guy. And then the thing about meth, right, is meth users as well. They're either not on it, or they're on it. You know what I'm saying? So when he came for viewings and I met him, it seems normal. And so he gets a place to live. That's what they do. They get a place, and this has only ever happened to me once. Get a place to live, and then fucking do meth. And that's what happened. And then, dude, he got into a fight. This is how I removed him. He got into a fight one night. He has this baby mama, who was a Native American woman. And she came over one night because she had his kid. They had a kid together.
Okay.
And they would fight a lot. And then she came over when he had the kid, and apparently wouldn't give the kid back, or something, because he said, oh, she's on drugs, I can't give the kid back, but meanwhile he's doing drugs. Like,
yeah.
it's fucked either way. They got into a fight, a physical fight, where they were throwing each other around in my front entrance. I said, get out of the house. I kicked them all out of the house, closed the door, and then they fought for a little while in the front yard. Police came, and that was the end of it. And then they just went their I don't know where they went after that. I was just kind of watching out the window, but they got taken away, and that was the end of it. That was my other, and then I never saw him again.
He did meth in his room? Or
no, I think he would go over to the ghetto area, over on the west side. He would go over to a friend's house over there and do it over there.
Back.
Not come straight. You have to realize, dude. You're thinking weed, alcohol, having a cigarette. You go do it. You come back. You are on the fringes, dude. When you do meth, you don't just go do it and come back.
Okay.
Like, you have to realize, he would just go and just disappear. Like, that's what meth is like. So disappear, and then he would come back, but the shape, it's like a meth user. So he would just be in horrible shape. Like one time. This is a callback, actually, to episode 8. Oh, the camera's gone. So we're just on audio now.
Okay.
So this is a callback to episode, I want to say 8 or 12 with Doug. He's a PhD in neuroscience. Because the primary goal of the podcast is to get exposure for super smart academics who aren't able to convert their academia into the real world.
Yeah.
So I had Doug. He was a tenant of mine, and he was a PhD professor. He's back in Texas now. He's a good guy. Ginger.
Okay.
Gingers are weird people. But so we were just hanging out in the yard one time, and the guy, I won't say his name because I managed to not slip up yet. We were hanging out in the yard and talking, and the dude, and I want to know how you feel about this, because it is an emotion, and men show anger around each other easily. It's just an emotion.
Yeah.
Because of meth, it makes you cry. So like we were hanging out, and he just starts talking, and he just starts bawling his eyes out while we're chilling outside in the sun, regular, nice, happy day. We're talking about stuff. He starts crying in front of us. This is when I started to be like, okay, something's definitely up with this dude. And it kind of spiraled from there, where I realized this guy doesn't have control of himself. This is what meth does. What do you? But I'm not saying the crying wouldn't always. Just because a guy cries doesn't mean he's on meth. Yeah. That's what I'm not saying that. So what do you think about a dude crying in front of another dude? That's not cool, right?
That's gay.
Isn't that gay?
Yeah.
That's like, don't do that, man. Isn't that? Don't do that.
That
Emotions are fine, but like you don't have to cry. And like it wasn't just a little tear, like
he was bawling
stoic. It was bawling, kind of embarrassing. So, I don't like that, you know. So that's my story about the meth head, and kicked him out because he got into that crazy altercation with a girl. I saw him be violent with a girl. I'd never seen that before in my life, and I was like, what the fuck, get out of here. Who's violent with a girl? I mean, I don't know. Maybe they're acting up a little bit. No, I'm just kidding. Sean Connery would agree with me. Man, have we talked this out? I think we're done, eh?
Yeah.
Getting a little sleepy. Time for some food, maybe. I'm gonna go get some McDonald's, I think.
Yeah, I'm gonna go directly to sleep now.
Directly to sleep. Yeah. Okay. Well, good times. If this ever becomes I would probably have already edited this back portion out. But if we leave it to here, thanks for coming onto the potential podcast.
Yeah, I just live across the hall.
Yeah. All right. And yeah, you live in my house, and thank you for doing this.
Yeah. It was nice.
It was. Makes you freeze up.
Just forget about it. I guess
that's the key. Is you just gotta forget about it. So we'll put the mic over here for the first little bit. We'll pretend we're not even on.
Alright.
And then if we feel ourselves warming up, we pull out the mic. You can pull it out. I can pull it out. Whoever feels that we maybe have hit something, we pull it out. Okay. So, do you think if you were a girl, like if you were your sister, do you think that you would be the same way that she is?
What?
Like, you know how you said that like she likes fancy things?
Yeah.
Do you think that if you were her,
definitely,
you would also like fancy things?
Yeah, because I think it depends on how we are raised more than our DNA and our personality. Because your personality is basically 5 people around you and where you've been raised and your neighborhood and all this stuff. So we've lived our life all together, raised by the same parents, we always get the same stuff, and that's also, I think that's why I also have this rich, I don't know, expensive tastes. Like I don't go for like cheap ones, so she has to be the same.
So you're saying that you're just like her anyway?
Yeah, I'm just like her
fancy
anyway.
taste.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Because it depends on the upbringing. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Nice things are nice.
Yeah.
Like it's so sweet to have nice stuff. Like ever since I was a little kid, I was obsessed with having like a nice brand, or I was obsessed with the feeling that I would get from wearing a nice piece of clothing.
That's the whole point of it.
Dude, have you ever heard like philosophers and stuff that talk about all that aesthetic? They call that like aesthetic theory and materialism.
Yeah.
So, but like materialism isn't just, oh, you're materialistic. Like it's super, super deep because we're all materialists. It's a fundamental aspect of that, like what we were talking about, that driving force of survival, that order from the chaos.
You
That
gotta
is-
be
that's
materialistic.
materialism.
Yeah.
It's materialism.
That's
it's
what
that.
everyone's running for. Like
Yeah.
technically,
Yeah.
like those who are like even saying like you're materialistic. Why do you earn, bro? Like turn a living to buy stuff. Like
Have you ever been in a rainfall shower?
Yeah,
Like, dude,
exactly.
I want that. Tiles is better than plastic. I want that. Like, that is materialism, and that's what keeps us going.
exactly.
You know? And I don't think
It
too
works
many
as a
people feel
motivation.
it works as motivation. Too many people feel bad about it. Like, I feel like we should try to clear some of the negative stigma to
Yeah.
materialism.
Yeah.
I think it comes through understanding what it means and that it's natural. But I think that's the same with everything, with releasing guilt. You know?
Yeah.
Sometimes when I see a bald guy, I just want. Sometimes when I see a bald guy, I just want to somehow teach him, like, dude, I think you're stressed out. You know, like I want to help him understand the world better so that he's not so stressed and that he can keep his hair. You know.
But it's not all.
I wish it wasn't. Probably all genetic, right?
Yeah, all
Baldness.
genetic.
Dude, I'm so glad that I'm not bald.
Me too, man.
Yeah.
Me too. Me too.
Is your dad bald?
No,
No.
my granddad when he died he was 95. He wasn't bald
Mhm.
either. You know the one cool stuff I told you about my grandma. So my granddad, when he died, like just 2 minutes before his death, he was like lying down. We had those long fancy sofas, you know the couches. So he was lying down there like this, and he was on his cigarette on his hand. And
Really?
yeah. He
So
died.
he died with a cigarette in his hand?
He died with a cigarette in his hand. He just did this and
Oh my god.
that's so cool. I know. I
Holy
always
crap.
learn about
You
it.
know what's crazy about death in that sense? Is I've seen somebody die before as well.
Yeah,
And it's interesting. Everybody always describes it in the same way with the exhale.
yeah, exactly.
That's what you look like when you die. You just exhale.
You
That's so
just
cool.
exhale.
Yeah. So we were talking about what death was. It's just exhale. It's just every time you exhale.
Yo,
I just
another
died.
cool
I'm alive.
yeah, fact about death is like right 5 or 10 minutes before you die, the frontal part of your brain releases a chemical, like I said, DMT, and what it does, it calms your body. You know, it prepares you for death. Like at that moment, like let's say you're in a lion's cage, okay, lion's den, and you're injured, and you see a lion in front of you, and you know you're gonna die.
Yeah.
So-
Then you get that chemical.
Yeah, you get that chemical, and right for the 5 or 10 minutes, you don't even fuck the lion. You do whatever, dude. I don't even fucking care if you eat me. And you just lie down there, cherish moments or stuff, and then you just die.
That's crazy, hey? I
That's
feel like I felt that a little bit. I feel like that's what mushrooms does.
yeah,
a little
exactly.
bit.
And my point of saying this is like,
So,
see
so
how
doing mushrooms
heavy-
is
how-
like getting attacked by a lion.
Yeah, how powerful our brain is. Like
Yeah.
we don't even know 10%. We don't even go 10% deep in our thoughts with our brain. And when I did LSD, I went to like 90% of my brain thoughts. At one point, like I can't even describe it. I lost my whole self. Like I don't even know what I am, or I was just in my mind. I was trapped in my mind.
But that's not what death is though.
Yeah,
It can't be.
it can.
You know? Like, but dude, I don't think I've never went that far, I don't think.
Yeah.
I think you've been further than me into the tunnel. I think you've been further into the tunnel.
No,
than
but
me.
this could define death. Like, yeah, you're trapped inside your mind, and that your mind is all it is for the eternity. And I mean, you don't even you feel time at that point because you're dead and you're all sleepy. But what it like separates from sleeping is that when you sleep you see dreams, and when you die, you're in sleep, but your mind is awake.
I hope not. I hope not.
This is scary.
That's the thought of hell, right?
Yeah, that's the thought of hell. Exactly.
That's purgatory.
Purgatory.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
that's the thought of hell.
Yeah, for sure.
That's how the concept of hell came. Then
Yeah.
you know that's why all the religions, all the movies, all the time show darkness towards bad and all the bad stuff. You mean Satan and hell, and the light is all for gods and
Yeah,
heaven and all
for
that.
sure, for sure.
This is the thing. We're in light right now, and when we die, we go to the darkness. That's the concept of hell.
Yeah, maybe. Hey. Oh, I had a good thing. I lost it.
I could tell.
Yeah, yeah. that is the foundation though of. So like when you talk about the lightness and the darkness.
Yeah. That's the foundation of everything.
So have you heard of? It's in like feminist theory and stuff, and not that it's racism and all that.
Huh?
Implicit bias. You heard of that before?
Implicit bias, like when you see a white guy,
Yes.
intention, like your subconscious mind automatically says like he should be.
Yes.
Like
and that's why I have a tough time getting on with people who are racist and stuff, because that is undeniable that that's there.
Yeah.
So you can't pretend that that's not there. So that's why people who think that all those theories and all that stuff should be discredited, I disagree with that.
Yeah.
Because implicit bias is real. Color, our eyes can see color.
Exactly.
So, implicit bias is real.
Real.
And it sucks. Do you think it sucks, or do you think it's
no, but
bad
I
or
also have
good?
a
Is it
question.
bad or is it good? You know?
Ooh. Like yeah, if you go even deeper, like.
Thanks for listening, and any questions or concerns for the show, as well as voice recordings and voice messages that you'd like us to listen to, or advertisement inquiries, please forward those along to CanadianTalkWithStephan@gmail.com. Thanks.
Canadian Talk.
We also have a website, Stephanjackson.ca, where you can find a back catalog of all our episodes, and we're also on YouTube, where you can find the video versions.